Once upon a time, Katakuri was the most overrated character in One Piece, but today he is easily one of the most underrated. So today I'm going to break down the power of Katakuri. Even in comparison to the Wano arc, I still think he's extremely powerful, and this is going to be a little bit of a rant. Haven't done one of these in a while, so let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and scale a bunch of characters before I even get to Katakuri, starting with Ulti. While Ulti is one of the most impressive Tobiroppo, she's definitely not on the level of Katakuri. A lot of people seem to think she would absolutely slam Katakuri, and it's clearly false. She's clearly depicted on the level of the Tobiroppo. Many fans genuinely overrate everything she does. So allow me to explain in thorough detail why Katakuri would absolutely twerk on any of the Tobiroppo. And this is going to take a while because there's a lot of things that are happening in the Wano arc, so it's hard to make connections while reading the story once a week, so it may seem like I'm going off in a tangent, but bear with me. Alright, so first of all, like I mentioned, the Tobiroppo are depicted to be on relative levels of power. Obviously they're not all equals, but I would say Ulti and X Drake should still be pretty relative to each other based on their actual feats. Ulti's most impressive feats involve her durability and endurance, which is a trademark of the beast pirates, especially dinosaur zones. So using X Drake, we should be able to get a pretty good gauge when it comes to Ulti, considering he's a Tobiroppo and he should be relative to Ulti overall. Now, we also know the Scabbards are stronger than the Tobiroppo, stated by Jack himself, who says the Tobiroppo are no match for the Scabbards. And allow me to also prove this by looking at Izo versus X Drake. After getting brutally manhandled by Kaido, Izo comes downstairs and literally kills a CP0 agent and injures another one in a 2v1. And again, this is after being brutally manhandled by Kaido. Now compare that to X Drake, who literally got help from Apu and Ancient Giants and got clapped in a 2v4. So even while injured, the Scabbards are so far ahead of the Tobiroppo, it's not even close. Izo literally almost defeated two people that are stronger than X Drake, and to add the extra cherry on top, X Drake recovered quickly, showing off his dinosaur zone capabilities, and he attacked the CP0 agent off guard, and then he got blitzed at point blank range. So even with Mega Wink, Ulti literally does not scale to Izo, so she definitely does not scale to Katakuri. Now allow me to continue working my way up the ladder, because I don't understand how Katakuri gets downplayed as much as he does, but I'm gonna have to expose every single beast pirate until I work my way up to King. Now as we already saw, worn out Izo scales way above the Tobiroppo. Now looking at Perospero, who we know for a fact scales below Katakuri, he was literally beating the shit out of Cat Viper prior to his Sulon transformation. So yes, Perospero scales above the Tobiroppo by more than 2 times. It's literally not close. And yes, I know Cat Viper was injured, but like I explained before, even while being injured, Izo was more than twice as strong as X Drake. So the fact that Perospero is whooping someone stronger than Izo speaks volumes about his strength, which means not only Katakuri, but the Sweet Generals scale above the Tobiroppo, which should be obvious because they're Yonko commanders. Some of the scaling is kind of inconsistent, but because of Perospero, he makes it extremely clear where the Big Mom commanders would scale. Going up the ladder once again, we get Charlotte Cracker, who would absolutely destroy Jack. He has shown the AP and speed to hurt Jack, and based on both their fighting styles, Jack literally has no counter to anything Cracker can do. He does have a lot of endurance, but Cracker literally doesn't have to do anything but clap his hands the entire time. But aside from that, we also know he is much stronger than Snack and Perospero, so at worst you can say Cracker is equal to Jack, but realistically, based on their fighting style and the gap between Perospero and Cracker, he should be stronger than Jack overall. Now when it comes to Smoothie, she is so far up the ladder, it is actually just impossible to even pretend she's weaker than Jack. And it doesn't matter even if she lacks feats, because the Sweet Generals are the strongest of the Big Mom pirates and are in order of strength. So she's so far removed from Perospero, and also above Cracker doesn't even compare. But for the sake of argument, looking at her fighting style, she has some pretty broken abilities, like being able to take the juice out of things. So on top of the fact that she can beat Jack in a hand-to-hand altercation because her overall physical stats would scale above Cracker, she can also make herself bigger just like her mother. So in an actual confrontation, Jack gets clapped, Queen would have to step in, which is probably why Oda had Smoothie and her crewmates stuck at the bottom of Wano for like the entire arc. I think I'm making my point pretty clear, so let's see where Katakuri would place within the Wano arc. We know he is much stronger than Smoothie, so I'm not even gonna bother comparing Katakuri to the Tobiroppo because it's pretty disrespectful. So let's start with this bum-ass mammoth right here. Okay, so first of all, I don't know when we all magically forgot about Future Sight, but Jack would definitely get blitzed for the entire fight. I'm not gonna pretend for 1 second that Jack could possibly keep up. On top of his ridiculous speed, Katakuri can change the environment around him as he sees fit and create limbs out of thin air and coat them in hockey, so Jack has absolutely no chance. It's genuinely a pointless debate. Now looking at attack power, for some reason everyone thinks Whole Cake Luffy and Katakuri's AP is hot dog water, but allow me to easily disprove that, because in Boundman, Luffy literally forced Big Mom to block while using using armament haki. And this is impressive because it was not hunger pain Big Mom. This is fully coherent, regular Big Mom. She knocks Luffy out after blocking it, but considering Big Mom is way stronger and way more durable than any of the Beast Pirates besides like probably King, this is still an impressive feat because it shows that Big Mom had to actually defend herself. And I know there's going to be some people who literally cannot accept this obvious fact, so I'll use two panels where Queen and Zoro use armament haki to increase their defenses against Sanji and King, because armament haki increases defense, so obviously Big Mom did not do this for no reason. So I think it's more than safe to say Katakuri has the necessary AP to take down any of the Beast Pirates with the right circumstances. I also already proved Perospero was way stronger than X Drake, who was able to match a Gear 4 attack from a post Udon Luffy, which means Katakuri, who was drastically stronger than Perospero and X Drake, would also have more AP than even this. And yes, I know it's inconsistent, but I don't write this stuff, I just make YouTube videos. Either way, Katakuri is still that guy, and it should also be noted that while Luffy goes through the live floor, he's holding back a lot of power, and he openly admits this after fighting Ulti. Now we're gonna move on to Queen, because this is my favorite one to talk about. I've never seen anyone wanked as disingenuously as Queen in the history of One Piece, so I'll start with Udon. In chapter 944, many people point this out because Queen catches a base form punch from Luffy and throws him aside, as if this genuinely means something. And I'm not by any means saying Queen is a weak character, but just because he caught this punch does not mean his slow ass is catching a black mama to the face. The next point of evidence is Queen's feats against Big Mom. While the slowest and dumbest Yonko in the entire series had amnesia, Queen catches her off guard and lands a direct blow to her forehead. Many people credit Queen with the knockout as if he did something meaningful. Directly after, Queen is visibly fearing for his life, even though he quote unquote won the fight. She clearly passed out because of amnesia, which is why right before she passed out, Queen was getting ragdolled and had to come up with a plan to catch an old woman off guard. Now looking at Queen's speed is actually pretty abysmal, and it's the same situation with Jack. Even if we somehow try and pretend that Queen has what it takes to defeat Katakuri, he will literally be unable to land a single attack. Giving him the supreme mega ultimate wank, we can argue that with the Vinsmoke abilities, his speed would increase and he can go invisible, so that would be super helpful. But again, Katakuri can see the future and has already shown better levels of attack speed that Queen would not even be able to react to. In Whole Cake, Snake Man was fast enough to blitz Katakuri, who literally has future sight, and then at one point Katakuri starts speeding up and he starts matching the attack power. So again, Queen literally would not be able to react to any of Katakuri's attacks. Katakuri claps this dinosaur the same way he claps that bum-ass mammoth. Alright, so it's time to talk about King, who is quite literally the only beast pirate that should ever be compared to Katakuri, and this is where Katakuri kind of goes to sleep. With his flames on, he was able to keep up with Marco for majority of the 2v1. Granted, Marco should still be a bit faster. After unlocking Advanced Conqueror's Haki, Zoro is able to blitz King as he turns his flames off, which should put Zoro's overall attack speed around Marco's, but I still think Marco would be faster. But Flame Off King begins to pummel Zoro, and the only way he can counter is after he takes a hit to the face. So in terms of speed, I think King is capable of keeping up with Snake Man and Katakuri if he turns his flames off, and in terms of overall AP is honestly destroying Katakuri, because even with Enma draining his Ryo, Zoro was getting absolutely destroyed. Now it should be noted that this version of Zoro has more powerful Haki and better durability than Whole Cake Luffy, which means King would destroy Katakuri in an actual confrontation. With his flames off, Katakuri should be able to get some critical hits, especially considering his abilities, but again, King also showed great levels of endurance, taking multiple Advanced Conqueror's attacks from Zoro, so I don't think Katakuri would have enough stamina to land enough attacks to win the fight. Many people have this misconception about King and his endurance, but the only reason it looks so bad is because Zoro's AP is pretty ridiculous, so if he were fighting someone like Katakuri with a lot less attack power, he would be able to last a lot longer. But it should also be noted this will not be an easy fight for King like some people believe. Katakuri will be able to figure out his weakness before King figures out Katakuri's technique. He has future sight and has shown better battle IQ and IQ in general than King, so Katakuri will be able to get some hits in, but like I said before, even with his flames on, he was bulldozing Zoro, so with flames off, which he will inevitably have to do, Katakuri will literally get killed once he starts getting hit. And now it's time to talk about Yamato. That pretty much sums up how I feel about Katakuri in comparison to the Beast Pirates. King is legitimately the only Beast Pirate with enough feats to put above Katakuri. So yeah, Katakuri is not weak by any means. The story is not always very consistent with power scaling because Oda does not care about power scaling as much as we do. But I think based on Perospero's performance and other factors of the war, Katakuri would be just fine during Wano, and I don't think the power creep is as bad as people claim. But if you guys enjoyed today's rant, drop a comment down below and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.